So, what happens when you take one of the greatest minds in all of history and turn him into a full-blown action hero? Well, that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. We are diving deep into Da Vinci's Demons, a show that took the ultimate Renaissance man and dropped him into a crazy world of secret cults, political backstabbing, and just pure adventure. The whole show, really, it just boils down to this one single provocative question. I mean, forget everything you think you know about the guy who painted the Mona Lisa. Instead, picture a young, cocky Leonardo who's just as good with a sword as he is with a paintbrush. And that, right there, was the show's wild premise. And let me tell you, they didn't hold back. This was not your stuffy, typical historical drama. No way. This was a supercharged, fictionalized version of Da Vinci's early life, painting him as this eccentric genius who's fighting his own inner demons while getting tangled up in these absolutely fantastical quests. Okay, so let's get the basic details down just so we're all on the same page. The genre is historical fantasy and adventure. It was created by David S. Goyer, and yeah, you might know that name from the Dark Knight trilogy. It was on Starz for 3 seasons from 2013 to 2015, and it was a pretty big deal, a huge production with BBC Worldwide that they actually filmed over in Wales. All right, now let's get into mixing history with myth, where Renaissance fact meets fantasy fiction. To really get what made this show tick, you have to look at its secret sauce, this really bold, sometimes chaotic mix of actual history and pure made-up myth. The show is pretty much a textbook example of the historical fantasy genre. You take a real time and a real place, in this case 15th century Florence, and then you just weave in all sorts of supernatural stuff, magic, secret societies, epic quests, all of it completely invented. And check this out. This is the perfect way to see exactly how they did it. So on the left, you've got the real deal. The political drama between the Medici and Pazzi families, the power struggles with the Vatican, that all actually happened. But then you look at the right, and that's where the writers just went to town. A quest for a magic book, a secret cult pulling all the strings, even a sort of supernatural fountain that lets Leonardo tap into his own genius. So let's talk about the fictional Da Vinci, an artist, an inventor, and a seeker of secrets. Because this whole fact and fiction blend wasn't just about the world he lived in, it completely remade the man at the center of it all. I love this description because it just nails the character. See, in the show, he wasn't just a brilliant guy, he was a tormented one. His own genius was like a gift and a curse at the same time, always getting him into trouble with his dad, his bosses, and pretty much all of society. You can kind of break Leonardo's whole story down into 3 big parts. It all starts pretty grounded in reality, right? He's designing war machines for the powerful Medici family. But then, things spiral into this hunt for the mythical Book of Leaves, which supposedly holds all knowledge. And that quest, in turn, leads him to uncover this massive conspiracy. It's a total hero's journey, just with a Renaissance paint job. Let's dig deeper into fact versus fantasy, the people and plots of a reimagined past. Because this mix-and-match approach stretched across the entire show, and it created this incredible world where real people got caught up in completely unreal stuff. I mean, just look at this list. It's a who's who of Renaissance Italy. You've got Lorenzo the Magnificent, the absolutely ruthless Pope Sixtus IV, even the explorer Amerigo Vespucci. These were real, powerful people, and using them as characters gave the show this feeling of authenticity, even when the plot was about to go completely off the rails. And oh, did it go off the rails. The show didn't just stop with a secret cult. No, it sent Leonardo all the way to the Inca Empire. It had him cross paths with Vlad the Impaler, yep, the real-life Dracula. It even had him find this, a Renaissance-era audio recording of his own mother's voice. It was gloriously, unapologetically over the top. Which brings us to the show's lasting legacy. So, with a mix this wild, you have to ask, how was this whole thing received? Was it a brilliant masterpiece or just a historical mess? Well, if you look at the numbers for the first season, the answer is pretty darn good, actually. A 75% approval rating from critics on Rotten Tomatoes. That tells you that most reviewers were totally on board for the ride. And this critical consensus really says it all. The reviewers basically admitted, look, the plot is insane and this is not a history lesson. But for the most part, they didn't care. They loved it for what it was, just fun, high-energy, escapist TV. The show knew it was a little bit ridiculous, and it just leaned right into it. And hey, it wasn't just entertaining, it was beautifully made. The series actually picked up 2 Emmy Awards, one for its incredible main title sequence, and another for its fantastic theme music by the one and only Bear McCreary. That just goes to show, even if the story was pure fantasy, the production quality was absolutely top-notch. So, we're gonna end on this thought right here. Does a show like Da Vinci's Demons, one that plays so fast and loose with the facts, does it damage our understanding of history? Or maybe, does it do the opposite? Does it spark a little curiosity, make you want to go find out what was real and what was just made up for the show? It's a really interesting question, all about the power of a good story and how we choose to turn our geniuses into myths.